Yo, what's poppin', Lord Wanker? And today we're getting back to that talkie, what I like to call or reference as emotional maturity, which honestly, I don't know, I couldn't really think of a good name. And every time I say emotional maturity, like I have to pause my brain because I've seen that thing emotional damage so much, so I almost want to always say emotional damage. And it's not really what we're talking about here. We're not talking about emotional damage, even though, yeah, emotional maturity can definitely deal with that, but we are not talking about emotional damage. But yeah, anyways, was thinking, I was thinking the other day, more about some of this stuff, and it's kind of crazy. The thoughts kind of came to me because, and I haven't been experiencing any of these issues myself currently, but I have been there. I have been in this situation where I did experience this kind of stuff, um, and it all got brought up because I had overheard that some uh, coworkers, whatever, had to go to some kind of HR meeting because when the bosses or whatever was got yelled at someone, whatever. Not my them yelling at whoever, not my problem. However, it did give me the thought that I have been in a situation where I had not gone along with my higher up, and I've been there where I have retaliated. I've yelled back. I didn't take the proper channels. I did not go through the proper channels of how to handle it, I guess you could say. And it's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to share my experience about how I had one of my supervisors, or I had a boss who was, I always thought was a real jerk. They were very rude, always making snide little comments. Um, Almost seemed to me I had like a superiority complex, and I did not like it. Like I did not like it. Rub my ego the wrong way. Maybe because I think very highly of myself as well, and I don't know if it was just because we clashed in that sense. But either way, I one day, I was like, you know what, I disagree with what you're saying, blah blah blah. I think what you're basically just wrong. Although I didn't say it in the nicest way, definitely saying it nicer now. But I didn't, and it basically damaged the relationship that I had with that person, even though I don't necessarily know if it was the best relationship, but nonetheless, it still did. And because of that, it made it difficult to succeed more in the current in that job or with that company because I had that, emotional reaction. And it came a lot from having emotional immaturity myself because I was too caught up in the moment of my emotions. And because you know what, to be honest with you, because it feels good. It feels good. It feels good when you let that emotions out like that. It feels good when like, you give it to them, you show them that you're like, that's not who you are, blah, blah, blah. You're not gonna let them push you aside like that kind of thing. It feels good. At least I think so. But that's not the right way to go about things. And like I said, in the long run, it didn't actually help me. It did not help me one way or another at all. It did not. And I didn't go through the proper process, and simply because I made the choice to act on the emotions at that time because I was looking for that satisfaction, that feel good satisfaction of putting that person in their place. But as I keep saying, it was not the right way to go about it. I could have went about it several different ways. Um, that would have benefited me a lot more. And it would have benefited the company a lot more. It would have benefited just probably both of us. Honestly, it would have benefited us both emotionally um, in that current moment and in the long run because of that situation. It caused like this overall tension all the time between us. So it's like always like a high intense emotional state every time that there was an interaction, and it was stressful, honestly. And you know, I would like to hear if anyone else has a similar situation that they've been through. But yeah, anyways, I'll keep back to what I was saying. Um, I damaged that relationship, and it made it difficult to succeed. And I feel like, I don't necessarily regret saying what I said. And I don't know, felt pretty confident about it. But at the same time, I was kind of selfish at the same time. I could have definitely been like, hey, is there something going on with you? Like I could have reached out to that person, reached out to him, seen if he was okay. But I didn't. I chose to react selfishly in that situation on myself. On the same note, I could have also, you know, brought myself down a level and I guess you could say put myself in my own place and asked something like, hey, am I doing something wrong? Like, what exactly is it that I'm doing wrong? Um, can I try it a different way? Is there another solution that I could possibly try uh, to see if maybe that can help correct it. Like things like this could be proper channels. And then like, like I guess if it ever got to a situation where it was serious enough that you felt you need to get someone else involved, that it's like there are proper processes to going about things, and that way it can help you hopefully succeed overall. Um, in whatever environment you're at. And this is the kind of stuff that we should be teaching to people, is that like there are these proper processes to do. Like it even works, like you could say, in the judicial system. Like the judicial system has a proper process. And I believe they say due process. Like you are allotted your due process. Um, I'm pretty sure that's what that means. I can't say for sure. I'm no lawyer or judge or whatever like that, but I'm almost certain that's what they mean when they say your due process. You're awarded that. Like you're almost like you're right. And but it kind of goes into like there's processes to everything. And there's processes as to how I could have handled that situation better. And I didn't. And I've had to learn from that. These are one of the mistakes that I've made in my past that I've had to learn from. I've had to learn about how can I do better in the future? How can I present myself in a different manner? And also because I overthink a lot too. I think things through very thoroughly. And it also, like I said, it made me realize that like through my own process of thought, I came to realize that like I could have handled the situation better. I could have asked more questions. I could have been more humble. Um, and it came down to the fact that mostly that I was being selfish and I let my ego get in the way. And which, like I said, that all ties into being emotionally immature, which, no offense, but I think a lot of people suffer from this. I feel like a lot of people suffer from this emotional immaturity. Um, which is one, are they actually 100% like naive to the emotional of how to be emotionally mature, or are they making that choice to act on the emotion? Like I said, which is what I did. I made the choice to act on that feel good emotion of putting that person in their place, which again was not the right thing to do. Um, but yeah, like I said, I personally believe that a lot of people suffer or have this issue of this emotionally immature issue, and it's kind of crazy to say, and like I said, it might make a lot of people upset, but it's kind of true. And it's what's even funnier about it is a lot of people actually know what to do. Like they already know what they should be doing, and um, they're just not. Like a lot of times, I think it's because, like I said, they're doing what I'm doing, is they're acting with on that feel good, that momentary feel good feeling, which is it's not that's it's wrong. Even if you know what you're doing, that doesn't even if you know about it doesn't necessarily mean, because the act of not being able to do it shows that you're immature. It's like a little child who has a hard time focusing. It's not necessarily like that they are incapable of focusing. It's just that they haven't taught themselves the discipline of how to focus for longer. And that's because like anything like that, any kind of discipline you have to learn, you have to try at it. You have to constantly do it. You have to do it over and over again until you almost build it into a habit. Uh, and it's, again, like I said, it's extremely hard. Like it's a lot of this stuff is extremely hard to do, and it's, even though you might know the answers, it's just something doesn't necessarily always mean that you are an expert at it. Just because you have set answers. A lot of times it takes practice. It takes trial and error, which is another thing that, like let's say that let's leave trial and error on how to deal with emotional trial and error and failing, because that's what it really comes down to, is failing a lot. Well, maybe we'll touch in basis on that. I think I'd like to do that. But for the moment, that's the end of the video. I hope you all have a great motherfucking day. Peace out.